Hi guys. For those of you who don't know who I'm Kendall, and
And
this
I'm
is
Allie.
my counterpart. And we have been working on a passion project for a little while called Innerverse Collective, a space for us to be vulnerable and invite other people into this collective or community that we are creating, to just be real, talk about our struggles, talk about our wins, and everything in between. And with the new year approaching and 2025 ending, we both individually took time to reflect and come up with some New Year's resolutions. And we actually used Mel Robbins' 2026 New Year's resolution guide to kind of help us. So, in our first episode, we'll be just talking about our reflections and what we hope to accomplish in 2026. That's crazy. 2026.
Fucking crazy.
Like
It's
COVID was 6 years ago.
it just goes so fast and it's really insane. And I remember my grandparents that I'm with now, they used to always tell me that as you get older, it feels like time goes by quicker. And I feel like now, especially because so much time is spent not fully present, that you feel like it's just flying by. And I actually was thinking about this last night. Sorry, this is a tangent, but I was just thinking about it. When I was falling asleep, I was remembering that when I was so much younger and I would come to stay at my grandparents' house, as we do every December, I would leave with the worst guilt ever when I was like a teenager, because I would spend the entire time on my phone. And I would leave and I would feel so guilty about it. And I've been making a super conscious effort to like wake up in the morning and I'll leave my phone in the room and I'll like go have breakfast with them without my phone, which just brings me back to the whole idea of time just goes by really fast.
You have to save it.
It's really
Sure.
scary
It's
and challenging.
definitely true. And I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that guilt.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
It's really
actually one
hard.
of my resolutions
Resolutions?
is
Really?
more present. Okay, so I guess we give everyone just a quick overview about what this guide was and what we kind of did, and then we'll get a little bit more into it. To start, last year I did not do any sort of reflections or resolutions. I encourage every single person
Yeah.
to sit with yourself and reflect on the year. It's such a good checkpoint of look back and to plan forward.
Yeah.
So I really encourage anyone, you don't even need to do Mel Robbins, just sit down and reflect. Think about all the
Yeah.
things that you struggled with, that you learned.
I always get super nostalgic at the end of the year and I'm looking through my camera roll and I'm like, what did I even do? It flew by so fast. But to actually sit down and be like, this is what actually happened, ways to reflect on it and ways to improve yourself in the future.
Totally agree. Well, going off of that, the first exercise was to actually go through your camera roll and go through every month. So my handwriting, I apologize, but I have January, February, March, etc. And you highlight the key moments of each month. So that's what we both started doing. We won't bore you with the events of each month, but I think what is more important than that is it first asks you to pinpoint the low points throughout the entire year. Starting with my low points, this year was definitely the most transformative. As bad as the low points were, the high points have been amazing, and I feel like I'm realizing, like I said, that these years are the most transformative, or the ones where you're kind of feeling them both. So what I had reflected on was January through May of last year. I was super down. I did not take care of myself. I was not moving my body. I found myself eating a lot, mindlessly eating a lot. My relationship with my friends and family and just personal was just not great. I wasn't fostering relationships. I wasn't showing up for myself. Therefore, I wasn't showing up for anyone around me. I really let my insecurities get in the way, and I spent more time than I'd like to admit in my bed. Then the next section is low points in my camera roll, and then we'll move on to what your low points were. So my low points in my camera roll coincide with what I just mentioned. A lot of pictures of me with a really puffy face, a lot of acne. And what I also noticed was a lack of photos in my camera roll, which kind of meant more than
Yeah.
anything else, meaning that I really wasn't living life. I wasn't really doing anything that I felt passionate enough to take pictures of or felt excited enough to take pictures of. I was just existing. I wasn't living. So yeah, you could take it away.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that our low points were very similar, but I remember having these conversations with you and that being the reason for us coming to this. So it's kind of crazy to think back on that. But yeah, no, I mean, for me too, I similarly, more recently, was feeling super out of touch with my body, not recognizing it, thinking that I needed to do all these different things to change myself and to look different, and really being a perfectionist with everything relating to my appearance, which I have struggled with in the past, but I've come a really long way in accepting my body for the way that it is and the way that it changes, and skin and everything, and being really dedicated to myself and my routine. But I think when you go through huge changes, and I similarly had a transformative year, and obviously one of them being going through a breakup is really tough, and it ended up being a huge blessing for me, and I've grown so much and I've learned so much about myself and what I need from relationships in the future. Also really leaning on my friendships during that time has been a huge point of reflection for me, because while I obviously always knew that I've had amazing friends and supporters in my circle, when you are at your lowest and you're really needing people to lift you up, that's when you notice it the most, because you're like, holy shit, I have this army of incredible women who are like cheering me on and supporting me. And I even had a new group of friends emerge because we were all similarly going through breakups, and I feel like that's such a special bond of women when you're going through something like that. It's just a different type of bonding, and you just get each other, and we all had like really similar situations, so it was just incredibly helpful to have that. While it ended up being a positive thing and I'm totally okay now, definitely going through a breakup is tough. Another low point is just feeling super disconnected from my body, not loving it the way that I should on every day, no matter what it looks like or what shape it takes, or if I'm breaking out or if I'm puffy or inflamed. I'm really just going back to the basics of the free ways to take care of yourself, and not going crazy of I need this supplement and this massage and this skincare regimen. That's really not, at the end of the day, what helps. And then obviously you knew that I got my birthmark removed in my chest, which thankfully I'm healthy and I'm fine, and it's gonna be fine, and I just have a scar. But I underestimated the physical and also visible like effects of it when you look in the mirror every day and you're reminded, oh, that happened, I have a scar. It sounds like so stupid, but when you are constantly reminded of it, it's upsetting for a variety of reasons, and it was kind of tough, and it threw off my routine also, which is something that always keeps me grounded. So that was definitely difficult too.
I think, I mean, I know every girl deals with body issues and body disordered eating, all of the things. I think what you said about finding just more of the free solutions and the free resources, it made me think about a conversation that I was having with my sister the other night about how it's very easy with all of these expensive new hot things coming out about vibration plate and a walking pad. And I mean, I fell for the walking pad a year ago, and it now sits in my closet. And all of those things, it puts a temporary band-aid on what you're dealing with, but it doesn't actually
Totally.
get to the root of the
No.
problem.
100%.
And I mean, going back to myself really quickly, I dealt a lot with hormonal issues, especially within the past like 2 years. And I think I finally got more of a hold over it this past year, but it took a lot of work and having to really go to doctors and get my blood taken.
Yep.
And be the guinea pig of my own life and trial and error. And it's a process. Things do not come easily, they do not come quick. And it's learning to have patience, which is really tough when it comes to your external. It's something that
So
everyone can
true.
see. And I think for you, you went through, although I know you're saying, oh, it's so small, and for other people, maybe it is so small. I know it's not so small when something on your body changes for good.
Yeah.
And it's something that is very
Yeah.
new, being
Mm-hmm.
23, almost 24 years old. It's
Yeah.
to see your body one way for almost 24 years, and then for it to switch on you, you do go through a little bit of like an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely a process, and what I'm learning is that it's always a learning experience. You're never going to feel 100% confident in your body. It's finding ways to learn how to deal with it,
Yeah.
cope with it.
100%. And that's what you said to me when I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. I was going to do anything possible to change the way that I looked because I was so inflamed. I was so puffy. I was like, what is going on? That's what you basically said to me. You were like, you have to be patient. You have to do the things that make you feel good. You have to like really dial it back and be like, okay, I need this amount of sleep and I need to eat 3 meals and I need to take care of myself, because the more you stress about it, the more inflamed and puffy and everything you're going to be.
Yeah.
And it's the only way, because the more you sit and obsess and stress, like nothing is going to change or get better.
No.
So when you said that to me, I was like, yep, that's what
Well,
I
I
have to do.
think 10% of your life is what happens to you, 90% is how you deal with it. And when you look at it in that ratio, it's like, wait, let me take a
Yeah.
step back. I have control.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, so I guess transitioning, maybe we talk about some of the higher points of
Yeah.
this year. I would say for me, what I noticed was that I hit a point where I realized there's only going up from here. Like I am at ground zero. I'm below sea level. That the only way to go is up, is up. And I took my life by the shoulders, I guess. I don't even know the right terminology or saying. And I was like, I can't live like this anymore. It was honestly taking a huge mental toll on me. I think the key moment for me, and I remember telling you this, was I had never seen baby videos of me or videos of me growing up over the years. And from what I was told was that, oh, you were full of life, you were so friendly to everyone, yada, yada, yada. My mom was like, an introvert? Never. Like, you are not an introvert. You were never an introvert. Yet, over the past few years, I would say, I want to blame this on my last relationship, but I think I just became more of an introvert after my last breakup, I would
Yeah.
say. And I really found myself like deep, deep, deep in thoughts that I didn't even know could exist. And that was super scary. And after seeing these videos of myself just being a full of life human, it really, really triggered me. And I was like, so this is who I am to my core.
Yeah.
Who I'm seeing on the screen, which was loud, jumping around, fun, full of energy, smiley. And I broke down. I remember watching a video and breaking down and just asking, why does life have to be so difficult, where it adds almost so many filters to who
Yeah.
you are as a person and fully changes you.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's good to change and it's good to grow and evolve, and that comes with experiences, it's also a rude awakening that life can really change and kind of strip you from your energy and your full of life personality. And so I think that was the moment for me where I was like, I don't want to let all of my trauma and triggers and insecurities dull who I truly am. And I look back
Yeah.
at these videos a lot and I remind myself like this is who I am to my core. And how can I channel that? How can I get back to that? And I'll sit with myself and I ask myself like what am I dealing with right now that's
Mm-hmm.
hindering me from kind of exuding the energy that I want to and be the person that I want to and the
Your
friend and
inner child.
exactly how can I
Yeah.
show up as my inner child?
Yeah, I
So
saw something that people said you should either put pictures all over your room of yourself, not in a creepy way, but pictures of yourself as a baby or in front of the mirror or
yeah.
as your phone wallpaper. And that's like a fun way to do it, because I obviously feel similarly to you and I've told you that. And I'm actually reading a book right now called The Body Keeps the Score,
Mm-hmm.
and relating back to the hormonal issues, the skin, the body, everything. It talked all about how as much as trauma impacts your mind and your mental health and everything, and it takes a toll in that way, it takes a toll on your physical self in the same way, if not even more so. So I think doing that type of deep inner work to be like, how do I get back to that place is the best thing that you can do. And I actually want to share the book with you after because I think you would really like it. But
Yeah, please do.
It just reminded me of you saying that because it really is all connected. The only way to really feel fully yourself, mind, body, soul, everything all one is by doing that work of, okay, well, this is who I am at my core, but this is how I feel now, and where's the disconnect, and what do I do about it? Totally. So you should give yourself a lot of credit for being able to do that and come to the other side of being okay, putting that in the past, and I'm going back to the person that I am in my core. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love the idea of putting like a baby picture of you on your mirror so that you're constantly reminded of who to show up for.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, I think long story short, at that point, I was like, I have to get back to, I have to channel my inner child again. And life went up. My sister got engaged. One of our best friends, Lauren, got married. Did the whole bachelorette thing, which was fun. And yeah, I think I wouldn't say so many new events have happened that have really enhanced my life, but I have shifted my perspective. And I think we can do a whole other episode on kind of how to get out of a funk and things of that sort. But yeah, I would say we're ending on a higher note, which is good. I'm excited for 2026. I can't necessarily say felt the same for 2025. So yeah, I think leaving it off to you at that point.
It's great that you've come so far, and even just saying that you're excited for the next year and you weren't, and you didn't feel that way last year, that's a huge step. And I even think back to the conversations that we had in early February, March, and we were both so lost and so confused, and both being able to sit here and wholeheartedly look back and reflect on the year, saying that it all worked, not that it all worked out, because there's obviously still work to do and room to grow, but saying that we've come so far from these low points is like really, it makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
And I would say to that point, obviously, like I said, having such a great support system and people who understand what I'm going through, whatever it might be, including you, obviously, was such a high for me in 2026 to just be surrounded by people who genuinely have your best interests at heart and want to see you succeed. That's a huge factor. And obviously going through a lot of change, going through a breakup, changing my career path, quitting my job, starting a new one, that's very difficult. And as much as it was super exciting and a great step for me, it was also really anxiety inducing. I don't do well with change and it was very overwhelming. But that is obviously another high. Working on Innerverse with you, it's really all I've ever wanted to do. And so being able to actually create these spaces to talk about these things that keep me up at night and keep you up at night, and hopefully eventually maybe help people and have people feel seen the way that we wanted to be seen in our lowest moments and also our highest moments, that's amazing. And also just getting over the hump of not giving a fuck what other people think and being like, whatever, literally whatever. Like, we're put on this earth to do what we love, and having the courage and confidence to do that, I think both of us have always been looking for, and we found it and we're doing it. So that's a huge high also. I even look back on September to November was really tough for me, and I lost myself. And I talked about this in the othership class, really was trying to be someone that I'm not, and my body was rejecting it. And I think that's also part of the reason why I felt so out of touch with my body, was because I was really trying to shrink myself, and that was not working. It's not who I am. I came to terms with that, but feeling so confused really takes a toll on you, and especially as someone like myself who really doesn't do that often, and I'm so in tune with myself and my emotions and what I need, and I'm not scared of saying it. Losing that was like, who am I then? What am I doing if I'm just accepting things that I'm not okay with and I'm pretending that I'm okay when I'm not. That's not me. And it was coming out in every part of my life, friendships, relationships, with my parents, with my eating, with my exercise, everything. And I just felt like a stranger in my own body. I'm not acting the way that I really want to. What's going on? So that was a very difficult chunk of time. Being on the other side of it, it feels really good. So just feeling home in my body again, and having that brain body connection and alignment, being like, okay, I'm actually doing things that feel good and authentic to me, and I'm honoring myself, and I'm not settling. So having that clarity and going into next year being like, okay, these are my standards for dating, these are my standards for relationships, these are my standards for friendships, these are my standards for myself. Having that clear perspective, like you said, makes all the difference.
I'm proud of you. I feel like you're someone in particular that, unless you're super close with Allie, you don't necessarily know what she's going through. And that is such a beautiful thing on your part, that you're able to kind of compartmentalize. But it also can be tough.
It's a lot of therapy.
Yeah. I mean, and you're someone who's inspiring me to kind of talk about my feelings more. But I think I feel lucky enough to have been in your life for those months, and for you to confide in me and express to me kind of where you're at. Because I do think it's important. And I think the people who show up even when they're at their lowest deserve like a little bit of extra attention and care, because it really can go unnoticed what they deal with.
Totally.
I always think about my mom when I talk about that, because I feel like she is just a super woman. So, yeah, I'm proud of you. And I guess now, looking forward, our resolutions for 2026, to really end on a high note. I think there are just a few for me that I can rip off, which is, for starters, is to just give less of a shit. Can I say that on here?
Girl, please.
Yeah, like,
I wish.
if it costs me my happiness,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not.
Totally.
And I just feel like 2026 is the year where I'm done, like you said, fitting into a box and shrinking, physically and metaphorically shrinking myself. I'm done doing that. It's exhausting. So for starters, just not caring and being confident in who I am, and understanding that there's no one else like me in the world and I have so much to share. Another one is being present. As technology continues to evolve, I need to continue to evolve spiritually and emotionally and physically, and not get caught up in the phone and the social media of it all, and comparison.
Yeah.
And I have one more. I wrote it on here. Oh, I'm done trying to deal with things on my own. Like you said, having a support system is a very big thing. I feel like my entire life I let other people vent to me and me share my advice. And I, for the first time this year, I feel like finally let people in on really what I'm struggling with and what I need help with. And I've always been a vulnerable person, but I've never truly sat there and asked someone for help. Even before we started this conversation, I asked Allie for help on something. And I used to take on all of those things on my own. And now I'm finally understanding that I don't have all the answers, and that's okay. So yeah, going into 2026, those are the things that I'm going to focus on, in addition to just living an authentic life. Yeah.
I love that. And a lot of mine are similar. I wrote, stop obsessing over how to live, which sounds so stupid, but it's something that I really struggle with. And it's the way that my anxiety manifests itself recently, is being obsessed over these things. And it's just kind of surrendering and not giving a shit and being like, there's such a balance, because then below that I wrote, stay consistent with good habits. It
Yeah.
perfectly summarizes what goes
The
on in my brain.
dichotomy. Yeah.
It's so difficult, but finding that balance is something that I'm really going to work towards, and it's something that I have found in the past, and just kind of getting back to that. Stop criticizing my body and shrinking myself for others. Those are two that I think universally everyone should try to work towards. And something that I wrote also was exercising in a way of celebrating your body, not punishing it. And so I've tried to revamp my mindset of exercise and being like, it's a privilege that I get to do this. It's not a punishment. And I also have been trying to force myself to say nice things to myself every single time I look in the mirror, because I notice I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, I broke out. My skin is bad. I'm puffy. My hair looks like shit. It's frizzy. I don't want to wake up. It's Monday. That's a horrible way to start the day.
Yeah.
And I know Mel Robbins does this, and you do this too, the high-fiving yourself every time you look in the mirror. I told someone that recently. They were like, that's fucking weird. And I was like, you know what? I don't care, because I have to do what works for me. And some form of that, or just looking at myself and being, I created this whole system, and it's literally insane, but going through the days of the week. So Monday, you start by saying one nice thing to yourself. Tuesday, you say two nice things. Wednesday, you say three nice things.
That.
I fell off since I've been on vacation, but I'm going to start again. And sometimes I look in the mirror, I have to find things which are like, I'm proud of myself for going for a walk, or I'm proud of myself for reading pages of my book, or whatever it is. It doesn't always have to be physical appearance related, and it shouldn't be, because I think that's a really slippery slope. You don't want your happiness and self-worth to be tied to your appearance, so you have to kind of navigate that. But so those are a few things. Keep giving back, because that's something that I really prioritized in this year, especially during my lowest points. I always know that I feel best giving back and helping other people. So that's something that I'm going to continue doing. And it's also a Jewish value, and I'm trying to really lean into that, and doing more mitzvahs and helping other people feel good also helps you get perspective. So that's something that I want to prioritize for 2026, because there's a lot of people who need it. Right. And then lastly, just maintaining high standards for myself and for other people, because the second you start lowering your standards or accepting things that you're not okay with, you are out of alignment with yourself, and that's when everything falls apart. So don't do that.
I'm big on that last one.
Don't do that, because it doesn't work. And do that all around. Hold high standards for yourself and for everyone else in your life, because you deserve it, and you owe it to yourself to do that.
I love that. Holding high standards. I always go back to this quote that says something along the lines of, you should never go to the supermarket hungry, because you'll always choose what isn't necessarily what you need.
Interesting. Wait, never go to the supermarket hungry.
Yeah.
Is it because you'll order too many things?
You'll pick things up that you kind of just want in the moment, but are not actually what you need. And I made a TikTok on this like a few weeks ago. It was from a podcast that I listened to. I'll send it to you. You would love it.
Yeah,
it's
please.
With Jay Shetty. He had on this guest, Gwen. Oh, I'm gonna botch her name. I forgot her name. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But it's a lot about dating, and it talks about how to know what you deserve, and she refers back to the quote, and to kind of link it back to dating. It's like, don't go dating when you're lonely. Like, you should be able to find everything you need to from within, and someone else should only enhance what your life already is. They should not be filling a void.
It's like the abundance versus scarcity mindset.
Yes.
I was just talking to someone about that. 'Cause when you are, for lack of a better term, desperate, not good. It's really tough. And people always say, oh, you only find, what's it, what you find when you're not looking for, or something like that?
The best things come when you least expect them?
Yes.
Something
yes,
like
that type of thing. And if you in your life are like, I have everything, not I have everything, but things are great, I have what I need, I'm feeling good. When you're in that mentality, then you can kind of to the supermarket thing, like, oh, this is actually what I need, this is actually what I want, versus like, I'm so desperate, I need this, that, whatever. First of all, then you're putting off that desperate energy, which is not going to attract someone that's a long-term partner or whatever situation you apply that to. But also, you're going to lower your standards and just be like, well, I'm desperate, so I need this. Well, desperate's a bad term, but that was
No,
just
but
what
I
I
mean
said.
it works.
Yeah. And it's like the energy frequency thing too, because I started to do something a couple of years ago and I stopped, but you basically make a note on your phone and you title it "Good Things Are Always Happening to Me,"
I
and
love
you
doing
write down, oh, I made the train this morning. Oh, and it's little small things. And then when you put out that mindset of, oh, everything is happening in my favor, everything is good, I'm in the right direction, things start trending in that
Right.
direction. Part of it is mentality, but part of it is just the universe picking up on that. Versus, like, it's the example of, like, oh, you're having a bad day, and then you stub your toe, and you spill your coffee, and you get hit by a car, and the world explodes, and it just keeps getting worse. That's not a coincidence that that happens.
Yeah.
And it's really all about, like, your mindset and the energy that you put off. So I think it's really important to pay attention to that.
And I wish more people understood that.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, I feel like that was a great successful first
I
run.
can't believe we've been on here for 51 minutes. That's crazy.
I know, but
Could
honestly,
keep
like,
going.
I know, I mean, we could talk for hours. Allie and I do
Yeah.
talk for hours.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, I'm excited to like edit this and post
Me
it and
too.
see what the feedback is. And I mean,
Me too.
anyone watching this right now, if you've made it this far, thank you so
I
much.
know. I was just thinking about that, honestly.
Yeah, like, um, and second, give us some grace and patience. This is our first
Same.
time ever doing this.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully we actually recorded this. Like, I clicked record, so
Imagine,
it's there.
just so everyone knows, we recorded our first, what we thought was going to be our first episode maybe 3 months ago, and we couldn't figure out how to edit it and
Yeah.
whatever, so now we're trying a different platform.
We're
But
trying, hopefully it works.
yeah. Okay. Well, I love
Love
you. I'm sending
you.
virtual hugs because I won't see you before the new year. I
Happy
love
New
you.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Love you all.